rolls on here at US Bank Stadium as we bring you our final skate contest of X Games Minneapolis. It's the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. What's up and welcome. Brandon Graham alongside the legend Chris Miller with pro skater Corbin Harris reporting from the course. And Chris, some breaking news coming through moments before we kick this thing off. Gold medal favorite Curran Caples has just announced that he won't be skating today. We now head down to Corbin, who's with Curran.
Yeah, I'm here with Cory Caples. You have just been a late scratch. Tell me what's going on with your foot.
So I got this thing called turf toe, and it's kind of like what I guess football players get. It's like basically you sprain like the ligaments in your toe and jam like the toe joint. And I heard it in practice like 2 days ago. I felt all right yesterday, and today I don't know if it's like nerves and just everything, but it's just super tender, and it's just, I don't want to like go out there and just kind of choke and not have people knowing why. I'd just rather stay out of it and just rehab it.
We'll rest up and hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Chris, tough break not to have the two-time gold medalist from this event out here today.
Yeah, and I mean, and not only that, with the absence of Pedro Barros, I think you kind of have a wide open field here, and watching the practice, I would say it could be anybody's day today. These guys are all skating so good. And bummer for Curran, but we hope he heals up. Yeah,
with our entire 2016 podium not skating out here today, this thing is wide open, but it's really about the young guys. Char, who earned a silver medal last night in Big Air, has looked so good at park practice.
Yeah, no question. And Tom, in addition to Big Air, obviously, which we saw him put down an incredible 900 and just skated phenomenal on that. He's been tearing it up on the Park Tour Series all year, on the International Series. And another guy who's incredible in park is Clay Kreiner. My only question is, Big Air is it's such an exhausting event. It's so physically demanding. I just wonder how these guys are going to hold up. Otherwise, these two would be my favorite picks.
Absolutely. Those two have been busy. So here's a look at our finals format today. We've got 12 skaters out here, each of them getting 3 runs on this course. The best score wins. Getting 3 attempts, how vital is that for this roster?
It's great, you know, and the thing about 3 attempts is it really gives these guys an opportunity to develop a strategy. I mean, you will see people push the boundaries on the first runs, but ideally you want to make your first run and then build from there.
Well, there's a great look at this course. California Ramp Works really outdoes themselves every year as the official designer of the course out here at X Games. But here is the start list today. Again, no Curran Caples, no Pedro Barros, no Chris Russell. Who's going to win this thing?
Well, again, I mean, I think Tom Char is a great pick, Alex Sorgente. But, you know, the wild card for the event who's in because of Curran's injury, Ben Hatchell, in watching the practices, I would say he's a likely candidate for the podium, and here he is, a wild card. So that just shows you the depth of talent.
No question, he's been the MVP out here all week long during practice, and he's got the clips on Instagram to prove it. So let's kick things off here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. Ben Hatchell just finding out minutes ago that he will be skating in this contest. What does that do from a competitor standpoint, the psyche? You're there, you're standing on the sideline, now go, you're kicking off X Games.
Well, you know what? I think, though, Ben's been here all week practicing with the guys, and he's been tearing up the course. And so I think it's got to be a lift emotionally. It's like, you know, you don't even know if you're going to get to skate, but you're practicing, and all of a sudden, you know, here he is doing it, and he's ripping on this run so far.
And he's no fresh face. This is his 10th X Games appearance. He has 3 medals, including a silver, but has never earned gold on the X Games stage.
And, you know, Ben has one of the most diverse and creative bag of tricks. Going for a tap up there on the Viking ship. He's one of the few guys I've seen even attempt a trick up there, and he makes that. That was, you know, he got a little tripped up, but we will see that again. And so my comment was, he just has so many tricks. He can do anything. He's a great street skater as well, and he's got all kinds of technical variations. So getting a little getting a little loose on that run after that fall kind of threw him off. So we will look for him in the second and third rounds.
He finished in 6th at Park last year at X Games Austin. He'll get 2 more attempts out here in the bowl. A 46 for Ben Hatchell. Our next skater to drop in, making his X Games debut out of Rialto, California, Tristan Rennie.
Tristan is an incredible skater. Grew up skating backyard pools and parks, of course, but he's so adaptable. And again, he's got a diverse arsenal of tricks.
He's been a top 10 finisher at Van's pool party all year.
Great line so far. I think it's critical that these guys use that center area of the course. If nothing else, it's not so much that the tricks are so valuable to the judges, but it seems to help maintain the flow through this course. It's a huge area. I think we talked about it being over 10,000 square feet. So a massive bowl here. Ah, wow, I love that line. He stepped off, but he kind of recovered and kept it moving. You're not going to podium with a fall, but it's good to keep it going. Nice. Ollie to back lip up in that bank section where you see those stripes. So really good use of the course. I mean, I think he needs to obviously cut out the step-offs and the falls, but if he can do that, I think he's got a podium level run for sure. That was a body jar, backside air, smacking the tail down on the way in.
So Tristan Rennie knocks out his very first X Games run. A 71.33, so putting together a solid score. And again, this 3-run format, if you can put a solid score down, you've got to be feeling good because you can only go up from there. So good stuff from Rennie. Another X Games rookie, our lone Italian in the field, Ivan Federico.
Look for Ivan to do some very unique tricks and powerful skating. Look at that. 540 McTwist in the deep end of the bowl. That's something you normally see on Big Air, and we're seeing it here in the park. There's only a handful of these guys that can do that trick.
And at 18, he has been a podium mainstay all year long.
A blunt slide over the Viking ship and in the bowl, getting really sketchy on that. And there you go. It's kind of patented kickflip melon disaster. He's been pulling that trick out all over in the Vans Park Series internationally. He's had some success there. He has a few wins, so he's definitely not, he's an X Games rookie, but he's not a competition rookie.
No doubt about that. So a strong first run from Federico. And I must say, Chris, the style, very subtle.
He's got great style. He's got great power. A lot of interesting tricks. Not really subtle in his fashion style.
That's what I was alluding to, facetiously.
But
hard to miss out here today.
We love seeing that kickflip disaster there, and it's awesome. I like his flair.
An 82 for Federico, putting him into first place. We're early in the contest here, but you gotta like what you've seen out of the X Games rookies. We'll be back with more action from the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Well, there's nothing quite like coming off the All-Star break with a Yankees-Red Sox series, and we'll have the finale as our ESPN Sunday Night Baseball game at 8 p.m. Eastern. Home Run Derby champ Aaron Judge leads the young Bronx Bombers against the Sox at Fenway. Our coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, and is also streaming live on the ESPN app. Well, we are in the midst of Run 1 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final, and here is a young man that is making his X Games debut. But Chris Miller, I think the Flying Hawaiian Heimana Reynolds will become a household name in no time.
I think so. He's got an injured shoulder, which is the only thing that may hold him back a little bit. He's been nursing it all week, but he said he's feeling a little bit better today. He literally had to take a couple days off practice. He's an exciting skater to watch. He's so fun. He
Yeah.
goes fast as can be and blasts big airs like that.
As you see, wow,
Look at that.
there's just a flash when this kid's in the bowl.
He said this park is reminiscent of his home park in Hawaii. He's really, my experience of seeing him, tough fall right there. My experience of seeing him is more in the combi pool at the Vance contest and things like that, which is more vertical type of terrain. And it's been really fun to watch him in this smaller transition and more open skate park terrain.
He got in via the Boise Park qualifier just a month ago and has an unmistakable style. He'll have to make some ground up on attempts 2 and 3, but you see what he's capable of.
Yeah, he's all taped up and bandaged. Here's another look at that. Blasting that big frontside air up and off of the coping into that bank landing where the stripes are painting, and then right into this backside 360 nose grab. His back foot got a little loose there. That was sketchy. He almost did make it, but he hung on.
So a 65.33 for Himana here in the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. Each of these skaters getting 3 attempts. We count the single best score. Now, we've never seen this next guy skate park here at X Games, but the consensus has always been he would shine if given the chance because he's so good on transition when he's skating the street course, Ashad Ware.
Yeah, Ashad's awesome, and I don't know if you remember last year in Austin, during all the practices, Ashad was coming over and skating the park event, even though he was in street. So he loves the parks, and he's a great all-around skater, as you're seeing right there, frontside feeble through the corner.
He earned a bronze medal in street last year. Did not get on the podium yesterday in the street final. We'll see if he can change his luck here in park today.
And I think that he's the only skater that is competing in both street and park.
Correct, yeah.
We have a few crossovers from Big Air, and it's pretty common to see the vert skaters in here as well. Yeah, nice backside blunt. Definitely has got the lip tricks down. And that's that translation from the ledges and rails of street into the ledges and rails of the coping.
So Ashad Ware's first ever X Games park run officially in the books.
Look for Ashad in runs 2 and 3 to step it up and make that run.
And it's no joke to go between street and park, especially with finals in consecutive days. A 50 for Ware, so he'll have to clean some things up on attempt number 2. And now here we have Raven Tershi, 24-year-old in his 6th X Games appearance with Curran out. He's the only park gold medalist or former gold medalist in this entire field. He won it as a rookie in 2011.
That is such a bummer to have him go down on his first wall. So Raven is probably the least predictable and best potential skater out here in terms of that. You just never know what you're going to get with him, but he is incredible. He's one of the few skaters out here who I would say has that similar kind of explosive style that Pedro Barros does. He's capable of going big. He goes very, very fast, but I don't know if it's nerves or what. He gets nervous, and so it's either it's make or break with Raven. He's either going to come out here and blow your mind, or he's going to be nervous and kind of fall all over the place.
Reckless abandon, probably the best way to describe his style of skating.
Definitely one of my favorite skaters out here, though. I love watching this guy skate, so I hope he's able to put it together for the next rounds. Here's another look at Raven going up and over the love seat, it's called, with an alley-oop frontside 5-0 and not able to hang on. And that trick is just so difficult. It looks subtle, but it's very hard.
Tershi's score coming in at an 18.66. If you're just joining us, we're in the midst of run 1 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. moments before we started the event, Curran Caples had to bow out because of turf toe. So we've still got some names left to drop in for run number 1, including the favorite Tom Char. We want to thank you, fans, for watching X Games Minneapolis here on ABC. And this contest is going to continue over to ESPN in just a few short seconds. So if you want to keep watching this event, you're going to want to switch over to ESPN in just a little bit as we wrap up run number 1 here of the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. So the rookie Federico still in the lead with that 82, but some big names still to drop in, including Clay Kreiner, Alex Sorgente, and Tom Char. Who's going to walk away with the gold? You got to find out by heading over to ESPN now as we continue the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Finals. Going down on our 4th and final day here at X Games Minneapolis, but right now we're halfway through run number 1 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final, and it's the rookie Italian Ivan Federico with the lead.
Yeah, a great run. Looks like everybody's kind of having the first run jitters so far, but we are about to see the top-ranked skaters drop in, and this next batch, I would say, is maybe slightly more predictable in terms of their contest performance.
Brandon Graham alongside the legend Chris Miller here in the booth. Pro skater Corbin Harris reporting live from the course. Our entire podium from 2016. Pedro Barros, Curran Caples, Chris Russell. None of those guys are skating out here today. This thing is absolutely wide open.
Absolutely, and any of these guys can do it. I love Trey Wood. I'm a big fan of his skating. He has maybe not quite found his contest groove yet, but he's got the tricks and the power and the kind of diversity in what he does to do it. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Huge melon 5. And you'll see guys doing 540s in here, but it's a relatively tight transition to pull off that trick. So that's a big move in this bowl.
This is the 6th X Games appearance for the 16-year-old. We first saw Trey Wood when he was 11, competing at X Games Big Air back in 2012.
Yeah, we literally watched Trey and like Tom Char grow up right before our eyes. Awesome front run, shallow end. He's making good use of the course. Nice eggplant. So a good run, obviously. The fall hurts. It's not what you want to do. Here's another look at that. It's a melon 540. And it's just so impressive that these guys are doing that kind of skating in this size bowl.
So we await Trey Wood's run 1 score. If you're just joining us, it's a 12-man final. Each of these skaters getting 3 attempts out in the bowl. We count the single best score. Ivan Federico making his X Games debut, currently in the lead with an 82, a 59.66 for Trey Wood. So here's Brad McLean out of Livermore, California. 5th X Games appearance for the 26-year-old. Said he canceled a fishing trip in Alaska with his dad when he got the invite to X Games.
I think he said that his dad actually kicked him off the trip. Brad is one of the most amazing park skaters that there is in the world today, and if you want to see why, you can follow his Instagram, and he just posts mind-blowing edits just about every day. He skates his local parks in and around the Southern California area and just tears them apart like he's doing on this run right now.
So technically sound that he really makes it look easy, Chris.
The power side for control. Looked like he was sliding out on accident, but he wasn't. He was doing that on purpose. Amazing half-cast bunt. This is a mind-blowing run right now. Incredible skating from Brad McLean. I would not be surprised if this run bumps him into the first place position. So many incredible tricks done on that run. Here's a look at a 5-0 to fakie over that love seat, just drifting over there, sliding it in, finessing it through that sticky concrete.
At 26, Brad is the oldest competitor in this field. That tells you what a youth movement this event has become. A 77, good enough for second place. Next to drop in an X Games rookie, but you'll quickly see he doesn't skate like one. 18-year-old Cory Juneau.
Cory, one of the most stylish young park skaters out there. He's got a lot of flow. He really makes it look effortless.
Cory says he admires skaters with flow and smooth style, says he looks up to Chris Miller and tries to emulate his style.
That's good. That's good. Now I know he's smart, too. No, I appreciate that because I am a huge fan of Cory Juneau. Tricks like that, frontside rock and roll board slide through the corner that you just did is just so smooth. Nose grind, just unbelievable. Nice.
That was a crowd pleaser out here at US Bank Stadium.
Great run, backside tail slide over that love seat. Cory flowing through, generating some speed.
A great run. Didn't look like he had it timed perfectly to get that one-ender in.
You know what? If I have any critique at all, is at the end of the run, he kind of looked like he got a little lost and just kind of carved around. There weren't a ton of tricks at the very end. I think he made up for it on the front end, did some incredible stuff. Heel flip Indy in the deep end. It's one of the few skaters I've seen make that. Tough trick. Again, that's another kind of more vert-oriented trick that it's tough to do in these tight transitions.
A 79.33 for Juneau, putting him in the second place.
That's really respectable, and I definitely think he's capable of improving on that, so that's good news for Cory.
No one busier at this inaugural X Games Minneapolis than Clay Kreiner. He competed in skateboard vert on Thursday night, skateboard big air yesterday, and here he is out in the park final. He did earn his very first X Games medal of bronze last night in big air.
Yeah, just an incredible performance at big air. And, you know, I've been seeing him so much all week on vert and big air. I haven't even seen him skate this yet. So I'm watching this with fresh eyes. Awesome eggplant in the deep end. And Clay, he's such a powerhouse. I mean, he has definitely lit the world of transition skateboarding on fire. He's got so many tricks, and he's just so aggressive in his approach. He really goes for it.
The amount of pop you see out of this kid, he absolutely flies above the coping. Let's take one more look.
Massive stale fish through that half corner in the deep end.
And again, this format, having 3 attempts, how invaluable that is to really push yourself without feeling like you've got to put down a solid score right out the gate. Yeah,
no, it's great because it really allows these guys to push their limits and try their best stuff.
Next one. A 67.66, putting the South Carolina native into 5th place. And we see Tom Char. He earned a silver medal last night in big air. Would love to get back on the podium here today. Alex Sergente, 19 years old. It's his 6th X Games appearance. He's flashed on this stage previously, but has yet to get on the podium.
Alex has been tearing it up across the globe in the Vans Park Series and has a couple of wins in those events, so he's definitely no stranger to the podium. Going down. Kind of uncharacteristics. I've seen him be incredibly consistent throughout the year in most of the events he's entered in.
Yeah, and he's looked really good at practice all week. This seemed like a course that was really custom made for his style of skating.
Yeah, for sure. And he has that range in his trick selection where, you know, he can do the big vert tricks, but he can also do some really technical tricks on the banks and the smaller section of the bowl as well.
Alex was able to get in through the Boise Park qualifier that X Games put on last month. He finished 5th there. We take another look at his run 1.
Well, not the run that Alex wanted to have, but he did some awesome stuff. Ollie up to nose manual on top of the bank, and then nollie in right off the edge, and you can see his truck actually grinded right off that little triangle.
A 57 for Sergente. Good enough for 8th, but again, get 2 more attempts here. Pace yourself, young Alex. So now our final skater to drop in, Tom Char. We had a chance to catch up with him for today's life proof, living proof.
My name's Tom Char, and I'm a professional skateboarder. We recently just moved down to Cardiff. It's kind of like vert skating central. You can't go, 5 miles without seeing for a ramp or a skate park or something, so it's pretty cool. Since last year, I've been skating a lot more bowls and parks and stuff. I think it's really fun. I think I've actually started to like it more than vert, kind of. It's kind of like everything in one. There's a lot more like room for like creativity. I don't think skating is so split up anymore by like you skate vert or street or whatever. Now it's kind of just everyone can kind of skate everything, and I think that's like the future.
Well, hard to believe this is the 10th X Games appearance for the now 17-year-old. We saw him early in his X Games career competing at vert. Obviously a Big Air mainstay, earning a medal last night at the Big Air final. But it feels like in the last year he has upped his game in park and has now gone from a podium contender to a gold medal threat every time he gets in the course.
Absolutely. Tom Char is one of the best skateboarders in any discipline. He's incredible. He
His
can do it all.
Hat fall off.
Yeah.
Mid-run. Seems to happen to him every time.
Look at that massive scalefish. And just look at the power and the speed. I mean, honestly, night and day from the runs we've seen from the other competitors. Incredible range of tricks as well. I like his lines. He's working his way around, hitting each area of the course. Nice backside 3. So that run was phenomenal for me. If I was a judge, it would clearly be a first place run. I'll be curious to see how the official judges react.
A heavy first run for Tom Char. The bar just got raised significantly by the 17-year-old.
Well, apparently getting silver in Big Air yesterday did not slow Tom Char down at all.
No, you could say that it's a disadvantage given that he had to compete in Big Air. He couldn't get as many reps in this bowl as everyone else. An 86 for Tom Char as he skyrockets into first place.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's right on. That run, he just maintained speed and power and flow throughout the entire time in the bowl.
Run 1 officially in the books here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final, and it's Tom Char leading the way with a commanding 86 on the dot. More coming from US Bank Stadium here in Men's Park Final. Welcome back to X Games Minneapolis. We're underway here in Skateboard Park, but had a great day yesterday at America's Navy Skateboard Big Air. Brandon Graham alongside Chris Miller. We take a look now at America's Navy launch and landing pad. That's really the structure where these guys put it down, but we learned Bob Burnquist, the legend, walking away from X Games.
Right when we were done with the event, I walked under the ramp, just myself, no one around. And I had this like flush of emotion, just cried intensely, you know, just so thankful. I just felt so blessed. You know, obviously, I love the X Games, and it's given me so much, and you know, and I have given, you know, everything I had, and I just felt like it was the time.
The most decorated athlete in X Games history, walking away from the X Games stage in an event that he really put on the map. Bob Burnquist has done so much for skateboarding, but it was clear last night also seeing Elliott Sloan win, ushering in a new class, if you will.
Yeah, no question. Bob Burnquist passing the torch, and Elliott and Tom Char and Clay Kreiner and others happy to carry that on and push the sport to new levels.
We kick off run number 2 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. It's Ben Hatchell, who was a first alternate, finding out a mere minutes before the start of the contest that he was in due to an injury to Cory Juneau.
Ben, that kickflip frontside air, kind of get away from him there. Tried to tough run, trying to come back, and frontside feeble to fakie over that left seat. That's a real tough technical trick to make.
And I think it's especially disappointing for people who watched him practice or follow him on Instagram to see some of the stuff he was doing on this course throughout the week.
He's got so many difficult tricks. Maybe the most technical skater out there in terms of the difficulty and diversity of tricks that he can do. So hopefully we'll see him pull it together for run number 3.
It's a 12-man final here in Toyota Men's Skateboard Park, each of them getting 3 attempts. We count the single best score, Hatchell in 11th with that 19.66. So we have a slew of X Games rookies out here today, including this young man, 19-year-old Tristan Rennie.
Skating backyard pools with his dad since age 5. It's pretty remarkable. Tristan off to a good start. Just that blunt up and off that extension. A couple of nice critical tricks right there. Very risky. Not able to get the 540, and I've said it. It's so difficult in here. We watch the guys do that. It looks like on big air they're doing it in slow motion, but in here you've got to have a very tight, very fast spin, and even with that, it's tough to get around. Nice frontside alley-oop transfer up onto the Viking ship. That was very cool. Going for the 540 again and not able to get it. I like his variation of the 5, kind of a nose grab. A little bit more of a kind of a flat spin, kind of holding that tail out there. Great style. Just not quite able to get around all the way. It's so tough. It's so tough. I love this though. Kind of came back, alley-oop frontside air, transferring from the bowl right into that Viking ship feature. Super cool. Good recovery. Hopefully we'll see him iron it out and land a run today.
Yeah, he had a solid first run, that 71.33, so he'll hold on to that and stay in 5th place. Another rookie who was leading the way throughout most of run number 1 until Tom Char dropped in. Ivan Federico.
Coming out with the pink flare. Wow, that was cool. Backside disaster up on the side of the Viking ship. There you go. I've been talking about how hard it is to do a 540 in here. No problem for Ivan. Losing a little bit of speed right there, but he'll get it back. He'll pump it back up. See what he's able to do. There's that blunt slide transfer. He got a little sketchy on his first run. That time he made it very smooth. That's a really technical trick. Nice boneless on the big bank. Wow, kickflip melon off the side of the bank. This is a great run.
Federico upping the ante on run number 2, unable to close it out there.
Still a great run. That fall at the very end shouldn't hurt him. He did some incredible and very original stuff in that run.
So right now he's in that silver medal position. Obviously we're only in run 2, but it should be noted, Giorgio Zattoni, the only Italian skateboard medalist at X Games history, a silver in vert back in 1998, which of course I know you remembered, Chris.
Well, Giorgio's a legend. I mean, he's one of the best vert skaters of all time, really, and be cool to see another Italian medalist.
So second place is where Federico stays. Time now for some game day sound. This time we caught up with the Flying Hawaiian, Heimana Reynolds.
I competed in the Next X about 6 years ago, I want to say, and I always hoped I'd make it to X Games one day, but it's always been a dream, you know, and being able to actually compete in it now, it's such an incredible feeling.
So Heimana, sort of part of the family once upon a time as a kid, and now here he is making his X Games debut.
It's good to see him. He is always so positive and excited to skate. I don't think I've ever seen this guy not have a smile on his face, even when he's gotten hurt.
Right.
Talking to him about his shoulder, which he injured earlier this week, and he's like smiling. Yeah, it's like popped out. And I'm like, okay. Wow, look at that.
His unmistakable style, getting the oohs and the ahs from the crowd out here at US Bank Stadium.
Off to a massive start on this run, looking really solid. And I definitely think if Heimana can stay on his board throughout this run, he has potential to be gold in this event, actually.
Already much better than what we saw from his first attempt.
Yeah, looking really solid, and this is more his trademark style you see when he's relaxed and feeling good. Lots of power, lots of big airs. Tons of speed. So working the whole park course extremely well that time. Heimana with lots of good stuff. Love that big frontside air, blasting up and onto that bank. His lines and connections through the center part of that course, all those transfers were just so fluid and fast, and I love the way he used the course.
Reynolds sitting in 7th place with that 65.33. This will definitely push him up. How far is the question? A 74 for Heimana, so that jumps him up a couple spots into 5th place. I guess he's really going to have to push it on that 3rd and final attempt.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, that was a super exciting run, and in terms of just big airs and lines and speed, he did great. He needs to add a couple more technical tricks where he flips his board more, and we'll see him bump up the rankings.
Judges want to see that difficulty factor ratcheted up. So here's a shot where competed at Street yesterday, and this is his first time at X Games Skateboard Park. We've always said he has the style to do it, but not starting his day off the way.
This is not the run he wanted, but again, Ishad is one of the world's best street skaters, and he always is over poaching runs on the park, and he skates it so good. There you go, blunt kickflip fake out, trick that 99.99% of the population who skateboards cannot do.
We've always said, watching him skate, it's like jazz. There's not a lot of strategy, it's all flow and improv. But when he's on, it is fun to watch.
Well, and you can see the style. I think maybe the nerves of actually like, okay, we see you skating the park all the time. You want to compete? And I think it's like, all right, I do. So maybe a little bit of nerves there, but still, he did some awesome tricks.
And again, very focused on street in that final yesterday, trying to defend his bronze medal from 2016. Did not get as much bowl reps as most of these guys out here. A 50 for Ishad, putting him in a 10th place.
Well, I'd love to see Ishad smooth out the nerves and just flow through here like we're used to seeing him.
Raven Tershi, our only gold medalist in this field. No Curran Caples, no Pedro Barros, who wasn't able to make this event. So Raven, the lone winner in this field, but he's got some making up to do as he's currently in last place.
As I've said before, Raven is a powerhouse of a skater. Just goes so fast. He's known for those big, long, grinding variations on the lip of the bull.
So fast, so loose.
Back Smith to back tail. Just getting away from him today.
That gold medal he earned, it was an X Games rookie back in 2011, has not been on the X Games podium since then.
Well, he has the tricks, he has the power, he's just got to stay on. Having a tough time on that backside Smith grind to back tail slide. Combination lip tricks, really difficult.
So Ravens run 2 officially in the books. We take a look at this replay brought to you by Pacifico. Great action from that Pacifico spider cam.
He started off so strong. I love his style. Big backside Smith, and look at this massive ollie transfer.
Yeah. You're right, the tricks are there. He can stay on his board, watch out.
He's got one more chance.
So 12th place is where Raven will stay. We're midway through run 2 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. 17-year-old Tom Char still leading the way.
Hi guys, I'm Chief Explosive Ordnance Disposal Technician Kerry Peakstock. I'm here with professional skateboarder and X Games gold medalist Alexis Sablone. Well, Alexis, here it is, the OD9 bomb suit. It's about 70 pounds. I'm gonna have you run down to the gas station and bag. You made that look way too easy.
Really?
Let's just do 5 push-ups.
Oh my God.
You did great with the run and the push-ups, but let's test your limitations. I want to see a kickflip.
Oh my God.
It's pretty
What are you
close.
inching for?
I know.
Now I get to rip this thing off, right? How do I do it? Like,
Good job.
thanks. Thanks for having me.
See more of America's Navy at youtube.com/xgames.
Still a little bummed Alexis didn't wear the suit in the street final the other day. Well, if you're just joining us, we're in the midst of run number 2 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. Tom Char leading the way with that commanding 86. Now, we've got a talented field out here, Chris Miller, but so far, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch him.
No, I mean, so far, I don't know if it's the crowd or just the being in the spotlight here at X Games, but a lot of these guys seem to have the jitters today. So we haven't seen a ton of runs completed at the level these guys are capable of.
We'll see if one of Tom's best buds can give him some pressure. Trey Wood, 16 years old, making his 6th X Games appearance. He's sitting in 8th place.
Wow, some big transfers all the way over the bank and smacking the tail on the way in. Massive melon 5, he just squeaks that around.
You've said time and time again, whether it's Big Air or here in Park, Trey Wood has the bag of tricks. Just when are we going to see him put it together and take that next step?
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like we're seeing it now. I just hope he can stay on at the remainder. He's kind of already done so much. There you go.
There you see him looking at the clock.
He's
he
like,
didn't realize he had about 10 seconds to play with.
So that's kind of a rookie mistake right there. So comes back in, pops back in for one run, one more trick. Look, I don't think that's going to hurt him too bad, but he did kill a few valuable seconds. But look at this. Look at this transfer over. Now watch the settle. He goes all the way over and smacks his tail on the way in. That was amazing.
Because where's the penalty here, Chris? Because he did stay on his board. Will the judges say, well, there was opportunity for you to put down another trick or two?
I think he did so much great stuff but I don't think it's a penalty per se, other than the lost time of, that was probably 2 walls worth of time. But he did so much good stuff. Indy 360 over the center gap, over the Viking ship.
Well, the judges liking what they saw, 78.33, so that moves him up in the standings to 4th. So he's just lurking outside of podium position
and again, he's got a 3rd run. If I'm his coach, I'm like, stay in the whole time. That was the difference of being on the podium or not.
Brad McLean put down a technically sound first run. How does he best a 77?
Well, honestly, I must not know, because my impression of his run was I thought he should have probably been scored higher. I was very impressed with the run, so technical, and in terms of just the amount of tricks and the use of the whole skate park course, as good as anyone out there, really. Backflip over the hip. Every trick he does and where he does it is so difficult. Even that, he's actually power sliding up that transition on purpose to get into that position. That's so technical. I mean, that's subtle. That's like a technical setup versus a trick itself.
Yeah, he is the master of making difficult things look so easy that to the untrained eye, you wonder, how hard could that really be?
An amazing run. Here's a look at that bonus through the corner. If he lacks anything at all, it's like the big airs that you see from Tom Char or Trey Wood just previously. But I think he makes up for it with all the tech and the lip tricks.
So he's trying to replace that 77 from run 1, unable to do it. 76.66, 5th place is where he will stay. Cory Juneau right now in bronze medal position, had a very strong first run. What can he do to try and get up there to Federico or even challenge Char for the top spot?
What's interesting, just even comparison, even though I'm, sitting here talking about what a big Brad McLean fan I am, I'm also a fan of Cory, but it's a very different style, a very different pace. Cory's so relaxed, and he kind of looks like he's just, wow! I was about to say he's making the very difficult look effortless. That was a frontside kickflip through the corner, no grab. Possibly the most technical trick we've seen anybody do in the competition so far.
Fans collectively picking their jaws off the floor here at US Bank Stadium. As Cory Juneau is going huge on his second run.
That's his style. Float around this thing just looking effortless and relaxed, and then just stun you with an awesome and big technical trick like that. Heel flip Indy getting away from him. So otherwise, a perfect run where I definitely think he was on his way to upping the score there.
First place at Dew Tour last month, second place at Vans Pool Party in May. The pedigree is there, the podium potential is there. He's got the ability to win this thing outright.
For sure, and that frontside flip was awesome, as was all of his lofty, super relaxed to the point of sleepy tricks. This kid's got style.
Remember, Federico, the fellow X Games rookie, in front of him with that 82.
Cory. Gosh, I love the way he skates. That's a tough one to score for the judges, I think, just because obviously that fall hurt, but there was so much good stuff in there.
Judges really taking their time on this. An 82.33, just nudging out Federico.
Wow.
As he gets into silver medal position.
That shows you how difficult that frontside flip was and how good what he made in that run was.
Clay Kreiner, fresh off a bronze medal performance yesterday in skateboard big air, trying to get back on the podium. Here in Park, he's in 8th place.
Love that transfer, just tweaking it out, a lot of power. And I watched him in practice. He's got this big transfer that I've seen no one else do, essentially over the front of the Viking ship.
The bow, if you will.
The bow of the ship. Thank you. Nice, looking great so far. This is a really solid run.
Oh,
Lands
yes.
the Melon 5, just squeaking it in there. When you hear that squeak of the wheels on an air landing, you know it's a little sketchy. That means these guys are pushing the limits. That's an awesome run. The horn sounded, and it's a full pull for Clay Kreiner.
A much stronger run than what we saw in his first attempt. A lot to like about his second run.
Beautiful transfer. I mean, I guess when you've been skating big air all day and doing 720s over the gap, that feels like nothing. Massive 540, but I'm telling you, a Melon 540 in here is probably more difficult than it is on big air.
Again, each of these skaters getting 3 attempts. We're counting the single best score, a 79.66. So that jumps Clay all the way up into 4th place. Alex Sargente, currently in 9th. Put down a 57 on his first run. Has a lot to clean up here.
He's another powerhouse. He always skates these park courses with a lot of speed and flow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if anyone skates this bowl faster than the Sargente.
There you go. Hip flip bendy. Nice. Wow, that was a great line. Really smooth flow through that Viking ship feature. Very unique. You know, great Caballero. I like how Alex, you know, he kind of does do the big airs and brings a little bit of that kind of vert style into the park, but at the same time, he's got a lot of very subtle and kind of sophisticated and technical lip tricks. Great trick selection.
Yeah, absolutely. Much better than his first attempt. And because he does skate with so much speed, it really feels like the quantity is there. I think he gets more tricks in, more walls in than just about anybody.
Sure, sure. There's that kickflip Indy. And again, the judges really seem to be valuing, you know, flipping the board and the tech in the scores. So I think it's good that he's got that in there. And this line, I love this. Ollie to fakie up onto the bow of the ship, and then a fakie ollie off and over, smacking his tail in. That's so technical.
An 88.33, a monster score for Sargente as he takes over the top spot.
Well, the judges loving that tech.
Whoa. The guy he just bumped out of gold medal position next to drop in, Tom Char.
Well, this is what happened to him yesterday in big air. He was holding it down and then got bumped for the gold position. He wants it.
We talk about him in big air. What kind of advantage, Chris, does that experience in big air give Tom Char when he's skating park?
Well, you know, the reality is that Tom is just one of the best competitors. And in my mind, Tom Char's a guy that I would say history will only tell, but he's going to go down as a legend of the sport like Danny Way or Tony Hawk. You know, he's just so talented. He's so good, and he can do it all. So he has another run.
Right.
And I'm confident we'll see him.
Well, there was no denying that he was on one.
Yeah, definitely up the ante on that run. He added a few more technical tricks and was just skating with that much more energy. There's another look at that 540 with the hat flying off. The hat flies off every time, I noticed.
It's as if he does it intentionally.
I've heard those hats are adjustable, and you could tighten it down one more notch, and it might not fly off.
I don't know. He's got some hair in the way, so he'll hold on to his run one score. Some moving and shaking going on here at the standings of the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final as Alex Sargente takes over the top spot on his second attempt. When we return, third and final runs here live from US Bank Stadium on the fourth and final day of X Games Minneapolis. Alex Sorgente waking up in beast mode on his second run, taking the overall lead with that massive 88.33 here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final, live from the fourth and final day of X Games Minneapolis in our brand new home of US Bank Stadium. Brandon Graham alongside Chris Miller. Chris, I'm afraid to ask you, but what's in store for third and final runs here?
Well, these guys have got to pull out all the stops if they want to top what Alex Sorgente just did. An extremely technical run with some great big airs as well, so he kind of had the full package.
Alex Sorgente, making his 6th X Games appearance, has never earned an X Games medal. Does that change here today? We'll find out here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. Dropping in now, Ben Hatchell. Hasn't been his day thus far. He was a first alternate, got in because Curran Caples was unable to go because of an injury. We know what he's capable of. We haven't seen him put it together quite yet.
Well, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we get to see some of the typical Ben Hatchell tech wizardry. Oh, so tough. That frontside flip transfer over the hip there, it seems to have been trouble for him on runs 1, 2, and 3. Front feeble to fakie. There you go. Half cap, nose slide, getting very, very technical here and just kind of losing it. I don't think it's Ben's day today. Not really reflective of his talent or capabilities, but still putting on a good show for us.
Not at all. So this one here after the buzzer for the fans. I thought he was going to try something.
I think he was, but... And we didn't get to see him do his kind of nose pick up on the bow of the Viking ship.
Yeah, he did that the first day of practice, and people are still talking about that here at US Bank Stadium. Bummer we did not get to see that. So here's Tristan Rennie, one of our X Games rookie. His best run was a 71.33 from his first attempt. He's currently in 9th place.
I love Tristan's style. He probably rides some of the loosest trucks of any skater I've ever seen. And again, you can see when he steps on his board kind of how loose and kind of wobbly it is. But yet he skates so smooth, you never know it while he's riding the park.
Final 15 seconds for Tristan.
It's so tough to come back after a fall. It just breaks your rhythm, and it's so disappointing. It's like to mentally rebuild from that. You kind of know whatever you're doing at that point is, it's not going to really mean that much.
Right, especially in a contest like this that demands flow.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another look at Tristan's frontside alley-oop transfer. And again, I was talking about the loose truck. You can see him shaking in the air right there. So some great skating from Tristan, but not his day today either.
So he'll hold on to his run 1 score, and 9th place is where he'll stay. Ivan Federico. He was in first through most of run 1, then got dropped down to 2nd, and then 3rd. He's now just outside of the podium, sitting in 4th place. What can he do, Chris Miller, to get back into podium position?
Well, he's starting off strong with a lot of energy here, a lot of speed, with a 540 McTwist, right into a backside boneless. Oh, he was off to such a good start.
Really did not step off his board on either of his first 2 runs.
That blindside transfer.
Needed something big here on his final attempt.
Bonus on the big bank wall. He's doing a great job of kind of coming back and showing some of us some of his stuff, but it's not enough for today. He's going to have to hope that he holds on to that
He pounds the pavement.
Fourth place position
as his third run comes to an end.
Again, pretty amazing to see this guy's doing 540s and McTwists in the bowl. There's that boneless on the bank wall. Love the Italian flair, the pink camo.
So fourth place is where Yvonne will stay. He's making his X Games debut, but something tells me he will be here for many years to come. The same can be said of our next competitor to drop in out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Hey, Mana Reynolds, he's in 8th place. Had a clean run number 2. Maybe needs to up the trick difficulty here on his final attempt.
Big transfer right there. Mana definitely has the big airs down and the speed and flow. I was surprised at how low his previous run was scored, though, despite that. But we'll see if he can improve this run. Excellent frontside hand plant in the deep end. Really stretching that out. That was cool.
And if you see the bandages and you're just joining us, he has a left shoulder sprain that was giving him trouble earlier in the week, but he's out here today.
Wow, great flow. I love that line. Frontside grind, revert, 180 out. Pumping through switch at this point. Managing to hang on. A really good run. I think he's kind of looking at the judges like, all right, what do I got to do, guys?
He's inspiring the shirtless look all over U.S. Bank Stadium. Chris Miller now actually taking his top off here in the booth.
I'm on a flying Hawaiian.
But again, his second run was fantastic as well, and we thought up here maybe slightly underscored.
Yeah, I do think this run was a little bit better. Seemed to just maintain his flow throughout. He did a couple additional tricks that were technical. The only thing really lacking is he didn't flip his
The
board.
judges disagree. A 73, so 1 point less than his second attempt. So 8th place is where Himano will stay. Interesting. So here's a Shad Ware, who is a monster in the street competitions. This is his very first park event in X Games history, but just hasn't been his day today, Chris Miller.
No, looks like he was off to a really good start there, though. I like that. I like that line. Got stuck on the backside tail slide.
And again, this is a guy who focuses primarily on street. Isn't somebody that really puts a lot of strategy into his runs. So for it to come apart this early in an event that he generally doesn't compete in, that's got to be tough on him mentally.
No, sure. I think at this point, though, he just wants to, you know, his shot actually has some awesome tricks. I just think he wanted to come out here and kind of show everybody he does skate this terrain, and he's into it. But in the contest setting, it's a whole nother deal. So a lot of nerves, a lot of pressure. I think he was feeling that today.
Yeah, unfortunately, his free flow style not able to fully be put on display here at the Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. That was his third and final attempt, and he stays in 10th place. Raven Tershi, he is in 12th. Has not been able to stay on his board. He has won this event before as an X Games rookie, has not tasted the podium since then.
Well, there you go. A very technical trick that's tripped him up on every run so far, and he got through that. That was that first backside Smith to backside tail slide. So if there's anybody that's capable of going from last to first with one run, it's this guy. It's off to a good start. Alley-oop frontside 5-0, getting away from him.
This run was so much stronger than his previous two. Final 5 seconds.
Not able to get it. So Raven kind of known for those big gliding technical lip tricks, and he definitely did a few for us, but wasn't able to hang on.
So Raven Tershi, not the day he was looking for here in the park final. A much improved score though, a 68.33 as he's able to move up a couple spots. There you see our current leader, Alex Sorgente. Now it's time for America's Navy Insider. Today's question, what is the number of various aircraft flown in the Navy? 612, 1113, 2250, or 3700, Chris?
I don't know my naval aviation, so I'm completely wrong.
Well, it was D, 3700.
A.
Wow, that's a phenomenal number. Learn about naval aviation careers at Navy.com. Well, it was awesome to see Clay Kreiner earn his very first X Games medal, receiving it from Chief Jeff Onion, an activation rescue swimmer at Big Air last night. We'll see if he can skate away with a medal here today in Toyota Men's Skateboard Park Final. We're in the midst of the third and final runs. Clay Kreiner currently sitting in 5th place. Here's Trey Wood right behind him in 6th, trying to replace that 78.33.
Well, if I've learned anything from the scoring today, it is that the judges love it when you flip your board. So not only do you have to do these big airs and maybe a 540, but they need to see some flip tricks as well.
Flip it to win it. Trey Wood not getting this runoff like he would have hoped.
540s in this are so
right.
tough. I mean, I've said it over and over again today, but it really is. It's just so tight, and you have to be so quick with your rotation. So you can see with Trey getting away, he's going to have to rely on that earlier score from his second run.
Yeah, he had a really strong run, and he actually had extra time to skate with, but it looked like he didn't realize it. He missed about 10 to 12 seconds because he assumed his time had run out.
So he definitely had a podium level run going, and I think that was just a little bit of a mistake, and I'm sure he's frustrated with that.
So Alex Sorgente still leading the way with that 88.33. We'll see if he can get knocked off here by Brad McLean. He's sitting in 7th place. He's just been workmanlike, Chris. So consistent, technically sound, trying to move up in the standings here.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he's had such good runs, and that I'm almost, I don't know what he can do more to score higher, but he's got a lot of tricks, so it's obvious if you're sort of, doing the same thing again and again and not getting the result, like try something new, right? So I think, if he can just, there you go. And that was Smith grind, frontside rock and roll to Smith grind. That was extremely technical. I like that he's mixing it up. Telepathically heard me commentating and took my advice.
I love it when they do that. So Brad McLean is in 7th place, his best score being a 77. Chris Miller, does he up the ante here? Does he move up in the standings?
Smith grind to frontside rock and roll. That is just so difficult.
But again, he makes it look so easy.
Thanks, man. So psyched.
You hear him there. He's so psyched, regardless of where he finishes here.
Yeah, incredibly positive guy and just an awesome guy. Fun guy to skate with.
An 80, so he is able to best his score. And he moves up a couple spots, but not onto the podium.
But still, that is an awesome showing. As I look through the current rankings, there's some incredible skating all the way up from, kind of 8th place on. Everybody's put down a kind of a scorcher of a run.
Absolutely. Brad McLean, one of only a handful of skaters in this contest to have 3 full pulls. Here's Cory Juneau, who's in our bronze medal position as an X Games rookie.
Well, going for a big frontside flip right there, but that's what you've got to do. I mean, he's sitting in bronze right now. Like, what else are you going to do but try your hardest trick as big as you can? There it is again, attempt number 2, and he falls twice, so that run is a throwaway.
That's going to do it for Cory, but now he has to sit and wait because there's one final skater who could potentially bump him out of the podium, and he'll be the next one to drop in, Clay Kreiner. A 33.33 for Cory, as you said, a throwaway. So the distance between the X Games rookie Juneau and a bronze medal is that man right there, 20-year-old Clay Kreiner. But a very strong run number 2. What can he do here to try and knock on the podium's door, Chris?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Clay is such a powerhouse. He goes big and fast, and I know we're going to see that out of him. He's got this transfer from bowl to bowl that I would love to see. We saw it in practice. I don't know if he's going to do it here in his run or not. There you go, kickflip Indy. So again, like I said, the judge is really looking for those technical tricks, flipping the board, taking those kinds of risks. Big boneless.
So massive.
I love his style.
Oh!
Falling and getting nailed by the board on the way in.
There you see currently first and second place, Alex Sargente and Tom Char with their hands up. They wanted to see that.
Clay is such a warrior. I mean, this guy has taken tough slams at vert, big air, and here.
Right. The only skateboarder competing in not 1, not 2, but 3 events out here at X Games Minneapolis. He's had such a busy schedule. Great showings. He got a bronze medal yesterday at big air. We thought he had podium potential here today, but he won't be able to move up. 6th place is where he stays. So with that, Cory Juneau is guaranteed a bronze medal in his X Games debut. How about that?
Congratulations, Cory Juneau.
So here's Alex Sargente, our current leader. Tom Char will be the last skater to drop in, who's in 2nd place. What can Alex do to give himself just a little more breathing room here?
Well, I think all he can do is kind of go all out and push it to the limit. Maybe take some additional risks that he didn't in the previous lines, but obviously he's already put down some incredible runs. He would love to put some distance between him and Char because he knows that Char has that last opportunity.
Oh!
Not able to do it. So losing it on a big kickflip Indy.
And with that, looks like he's going to try and drop in. I think he's got something big planned here.
He was going to attempt a transfer all the way over a big banked extension and inch the quarter pipe.
So now Sargente waits as he hugs his competitor. The last guy who can bump him out of gold medal position.
Well, Tom Char, who even at his young age is a pretty seasoned veteran at this point, but he's got to be feeling the nerves right now.
Char's in silver medal position. He earned his silver in big air yesterday. He's already guaranteed a medal, which he just made history, by the way, because no X Games athlete has ever medaled in both skateboard, big air, and park at the same X Games. So he's already guaranteed in the history books for that one. But he didn't come here for silver. He came here for gold. Here's his chance to do it.
Nails that.
Oh, no!
Wow. Going for that big kickflip Indy transfer into the bank, and he loses it.
And right as he does, you saw him point. That was up to Alex Sargente. He won't even finish the run because he knows Sargente in his 6th X Games appearance earns his first ever medal, and it just so happens to be gold. That's your podium. Sargente with the gold medal, Tom Char with his second silver in as many days, and Cory Juneau, the X Games rookie, earning bronze.
What an awesome comp, and you can see the camaraderie. These guys are the best of friends. They skate together all the time as well as compete together, so they're stoked for one another.
What a performance from top to bottom, and there we see the gold medal around the Florida native's neck. You can't fault Tom Char for not putting it all out there on that final attempt. He was giving it everything he got.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Alex Sorgente, when you look at the big airs, the technical tricks, and more importantly, the combinations over that center obstacle.
Dude, stop. Yeah, let's get a photo.
What a final here at Toyota Men's Skateboard Park. Alex Sorgente earning his very first X Games gold medal.
Pretend to be first, and most of all, I don't pretend to be concerned. I don't pretend